Hi, my name is Dan Hohenstein. This is week 6 of EDU 503 Sports Law. My case study presentation this week covers Taylor versus Wake Forest University. As we take a look at this case, the plaintiffs in this are George J. Taylor and his son, Greg F. Taylor. The defendant is Wake Forest University. George and his son, Greg, allege wrongful termination of an athletic scholarship issued to Greg F. Taylor by Wake Forest University. Wake Forest, in response to Taylor's refusal to play football, Wake Forest's scholarship committee revoked his scholarship. Although Greg played his first year at Wake Forest in the fall of 1967, this was taken to the North Carolina Court of Appeals in 1972. So let's take a look further into this case. Greg Taylor was recruited by Wake Forest University to play football and was given a full 4-year scholarship to do so. In the scholarship agreement, though, Taylor agreed to abide by all rules of the conference, the NCAA, and the institution. Although Taylor played during the fall semester of his freshman year, he was only able to achieve a 1.0 grade point average for that period, which was well below the 1.35 GPA the school required. The school also required, as the years went on, to have a higher GPA. As you can see on the screen, by sophomore year, they were required to have a 1.65 GPA, and by junior year, they were required to have a 1.85 GPA, and then they were supposed to have a 2.0 GPA for their senior season. After the fall football semester, Taylor decided not to attend football practices during the spring semester and then achieved a 1.9 GPA and was able to bring that up in the spring semester. Taylor again decided, though, to not play football during the fall semester of his sophomore year, and his GPA rose again to 2.4. In response to Taylor's refusal to play football, Wake Forest Scholarship Committee revoked his scholarship. Taylor continued his education at the university and graduated on time in 4 years, but brought suit against Wake Forest to recover the $5,500 in expenses he incurred during his last 2 years due to his lost scholarship. So let's take a look at both sides of the argument. George J. Taylor and Greg F. Taylor argued that there was a genuine issue as to a material fact and that a jury should decide if Greg acted responsibly and in good faith in refusing to participate in football practices. On the contrary, Wake Forest University said that there was an oral agreement between Wake Forest and the Taylors that in the event of any conflict between educational achievement and athletic involvement, participation in athletic activities could be limited or eliminated to the extent necessary to assure reasonable academic progress. Furthermore, the contract which Greg Taylor had signed included, "I agreed to maintain eligibility for intercollegiate athletics under both conference and institutional rules. Training rules for intercollegiate athletics are considered rules of the institution, and I agreed to abide by them." And lastly, the defendant here, Wake Forest, showed that the scholarship was awarded for athletic and academic achievement, and that Greg Taylor agreed to maintain athletic eligibility both physically and scholastically. So where does that put us? The record disclosed that Wake Forest fully complied with its agreement and that Greg Taylor failed to do so. There was no genuine issue as to any material fact, and summary judgment was proper. So in the end, Greg Taylor was given an athletic and academic scholarship. That being said, he did not keep true to his agreement of playing football at Wake Forest University while staying academically eligible with keeping his GPA at the given number. The court found no error in what Wake Forest did, and the Taylors were required to pay the $5,500 that was incurred during the final 2 years of his academics while he was not under scholarship any longer. So what are the implications for the athletic director? In this scenario, I believe it deals with scholarships in the future. Athletes will no longer be able to refuse to attend practice as long as they both scholastically and athletically are eligible. This was one of the findings that came out of this case between Taylor and the Wake Forest University. When you sign a contract, you must abide by that contract. In this scenario, the Taylors did not do that. In this day and age, Many student athletes are looking for a scholarship because college has become so expensive. I believe that if a student athlete or a student in general is not reaching their end of the agreement, that the university has the right to take away that scholarship. Many people have looked for scholarships and have not been given one. So we ought to make sure that these student athletes and athletes are holding up their end of the bargain. Thank you, and thank you for listening to my case study presentation for EDU 503 Sports Law.